The thing I love the most about minimalism is that it has simplified my life. It has given me time back in my life, and it's caused me to even save money because I don't have to buy the things that I used to anymore. And today I'm going to give you 10 things I no longer have in my home or I no longer purchase as a minimalist. And I hope that they give you some ideas of things that you can pare down in your home or changes that you can make as well. Now, this is one thing I never ever thought that I would say I would live without, and that is a curling iron and flat iron. Most of my life, I have struggled to make my curly hair flat. I wanted that flat, silky hair like everybody else has. Well, not everybody has. You know, we always want what we don't have, right? I was spending some time with my sister, who has naturally curly hair as well. I noticed how easy her routine was and how beautiful her hair looked and how it wasn't all dry like mine was because I was drying it out using the flat iron and the curling iron. So I just thought to myself, I wonder if I can make this change. I'm telling you, it was not easy because most of my life I told myself, you don't look good with curly hair. It's weird where your bangs are. It doesn't look good. You'll look better with flat hair. These are all of the, I don't want to say lies, but the false things that I told myself, right? But one thing for sure, now that I have changed, now that I've converted and I've developed a routine for the hair that I have and not struggling to make it something else entirely, it is such a game changer. It's such a time saver. Another thing that I don't keep in my home any longer as a minimalist is things that people gave me that I don't need. You know, they're always well-intentioned, right? And sometimes when we accept something, we think it's going to work out. And I'll share a little story with you. My dad bought 2 grandfather clocks. He bought one for myself, one for my sister. Neither of us were grandfather clock people. What happened is when he passed away, neither of us wanted these clocks. We felt slightly guilty about it, but at the same time, we had to recognize that this wasn't something that we chose. It wasn't something that we would value. And we felt that it would be in better hands going to someone else that actually would value it and love it. But I want you to remember that once somebody gives you something, and even if you accept it, even if you say yes to it, that doesn't obligate you to keep it forever. If it's not working out for you, if it takes up space in your home, and every time you look at it, you're like, I don't need this. I don't love it. I don't want it. It is okay to part ways with that item. I used to be the type of person that loved to decorate a table. We're talking table runners, tablecloths, fancy napkins, napkin rings, fancy placemats that you only use every once in a while, and those charger plates. Do you remember those? That's a big mouthful, isn't it? Those are taking up so much space in our homes. We store these things in our homes for the maybe 1 or 2 times a year that we're going to use them. So now what I've done is I've gotten rid of all of those. I will never buy all of that kind of tableware again. I'll tell you why. Let's go down the list here. Let's start with the charger plates. For me, it was just a decorative item. I used it only a couple of times a year, and it served absolutely no purpose. It was just to make things look fancy and elevated, and that is just not my style, as it turns out. Next, we're on to the cloth napkins, the cloth tablecloth, and the placemats that were also cloth. Number one, every time you unpackage those, they look great, but then you wash them and they don't look great. So that's number one. Number two, they get stained up. No matter how hard I try, I would use them maybe once or twice. They'd get stained and those stains never came out. Number three, they take up a lot of space in my home, and that's one category of items that just wasn't important to me. But if you're a person that enjoys that kind of thing and you absolutely love setting a beautiful table and you do it often, then that's a good thing. For me, that's not something I valued or even found joy in because I had to wash these things. I had to fold them up. Oftentimes, I would have to iron them before I put them away. And then when it came time for that special occasion, I'd have to drag it all out, set the whole table up, and it was just extra work that I did not enjoy. So now what do I have? I have these natural material little woven placemats. I got them at IKEA. They were not that much money. I think it elevates my table just enough, and I love it. If something spills on it, I run it under the faucet and everything just comes out. And if crumbs get on it, I just tap it over the sink and voila, it's just as good as new. Best of all, I use these things every single day because I have to be careful living in a downsized home to not have too many things in my home that I don't use all the time. When my son got diagnosed with asthma and allergies, I was so scared. I thought, what can I do? How can I help him? What can I change in my house or habits and what we're doing to make him feel better, to make him not have an attack? One of the things that I came up with was making my own cleaner. It cleans every surface, including windows, and especially windows, I should say. It's actually a window cleaner, but I use it all over the place. And I don't know about you, but now that I've been making my own cleaner, I can really tell the difference. If I'm around another cleaner, I just find it to be so overwhelming to me. This is so good, I'm telling you. It is in fact so good that when I first started using it, I had a big door wall at the time, and a bird crashed into my door wall. It thought that it was, clear. Don't worry, the bird knocked himself out for a few minutes, but he was totally fine and flew away. And I will link this cleaner recipe in my description below so you can check it out. And at the same time, check out my extra videos that I'll put down there. I think you'll find some really helpful. And if you have your own all-natural cleaning recipe or something that you do instead of buying those store-bought cleaners, let me know in the comments because I'm always looking for those kind of tips. When we were looking at our downsized house, one of the first things I noticed when we walked in the door is that it felt very enclosed. And I thought to myself, I wonder what that is. Like, it just didn't have a lot of light. And then I opened up the blinds and all of the light just started pouring in and it was beautiful. So I changed my mind pretty quick. Now, fast forward when we moved into this house, I discovered that those blinds were actually in really poor condition. They were dirty, full of dust, and there was just no making them better. So down they went, and we figured, you know what, this is the main floor. We'll go ahead and replace them when we can, and we lived like that. I'm really thankful for that space and time that we allowed ourselves to just live with no blinds, no curtains on this main floor. We live up on a hill, nobody's looking in our windows, and it just allows so much natural light. Which for me, I do have anxiety here and there, especially situational anxiety. When I lost my dad, definitely I had anxiety. And the light just brings me joy, it brings me happiness, and it uplifts me. So I need that light in my home. So this solution was actually a really good one for us, but it might not be right for you. Maybe you don't live on a hill and you need some privacy. What I would recommend to you is just consider maybe paring down on the big heavy drapes that make it really dark and get a solution like roller blinds that go up super easy. You don't have to dust them off like regular blinds. Another option for you would be to get one of those see-through kind of curtains, kind of a sheer panel where people can't necessarily see in, but it lets the light in instead. One of the things I always wanted was an iPad. I don't know why, I just thought that they were so awesome. I thought that I could read books on them. I thought that I could do, reading articles, etc. But what I found is that it actually did the opposite. It made me not want to read books at all because I was always reading articles, which would lead me to a thought, and then the next thought, and the next thought, and the next thought. I would read something on this topic, and then something else would pop up in that, and I'd go on to the next one. So it caused me to be distracted. I could never focus anymore. And I really lost my passion for reading. And I thought maybe I could get my passion of reading back if I got a Kindle. Maybe it would be easier for me to take that on a trip. But no dice. So I no longer have an iPad or a Kindle. I just have a real book. And you know what? I actually got my passion for reading back, which is such a good thing. Right now, I'm reading the Atomic Habits book by James Clear, which I'm going to be doing a video on that. And I also am reading a fun book. I always like to have an educational book and a fun book. My fun book is James Patterson's newest, what do they call that? It's called The Women's Murder Club, and I think it's the 25th one if I'm not mistaken, and I absolutely love it. It's so good I can hardly put it down. So I just want to tell you, if you have electronic items in your home that you thought would do one thing, but it's actually turning out to be sort of a negative for you, feel free to part ways with those. I just went on a big trip. It was about 10 days away from home, which means, of course, that I'm going to have to do laundry while I'm away. Our condo that we stayed at had a washer and dryer. So I looked looked it up and I found these great Earth Breeze little sheets. Look how tiny they are. They don't take up much space at all. And you can get 60 loads. Well, that got me clued into something that's new that I'm no longer going to have in my home, which is these big jugs of laundry detergent. They are heavy. I have to get them shipped to my house. They cost a lot more per load because, let's see, this is 32 loads. And this thing weighs, it says, well, it's 100 fluid ounces. So it does weigh a lot. I mean, it's hard to heft it. And when you get these delivered to your house, of course, it's a big box. A lot of times it spills because the caps are loose. And I didn't have any of that with these. After having such a successful time doing my laundry when I was on my trip, as soon as these things are gone, I am going to convert completely to having this. It's going to take up so much less room in my laundry area, and I am so excited about it. As you can see up here, I have all glass storage containers, and that is for my food that goes in the fridge or in the freezer. I used to have a lot of plastic, and that just became a problem. It was cracking, it was stained, and I never felt quite sure that my food wasn't absorbing some of the plastic. It just didn't feel right to me. So I converted several years ago to glass only. So that means I do not have any plastic storage containers for my food that goes in the fridge or freezer. I don't use a dishwasher. And it's just something we had to deal with at one point because our dishwasher was broken. We just got in the habit of washing our dishes by hand. So anytime anybody has a dirty dish, they wash it up and they dry it off and they put it away. And for us, that is a big saver of time in the evening, especially when everybody's just tired. The last thing that they want to do is come in and empty a dishwasher out and put it all away at the same time. This might be a good tip for you, and maybe it's not. You might want to give it a try. You might like it too. One thing I got rid of a long time ago for my kids because they have small rooms or they were sharing a room are dressers. They have the size of closets that could accommodate all of their clothes. So if you have a decent sized closet in your home, you might want to do what we did, which is just part ways with those dressers for our kids. Our closet is the tiniest one in the entire house. I have to say I love my dressers, so I'm not complaining, and my room is a good size so I can fit the dressers in and I'm not all crunched in there. But if that's not you for yourself or your kids, take a pass at your closet. Can you, especially if you decluttered, could you fit all of your clothes in there with some, kind of tweaking? If you thought outside the box a little bit, maybe a cart or a basket, or taking your shelves and dividing them up with little bins, would something like that work for you? If that's the case, you might be able to just par down on your furniture in your room. Space that we gained due to getting rid of those dressers was absolutely mind-boggling. It just opened up the rooms and made it so nice and fresh and clean. And you know what else was a benefit? We no longer had to clean around and underneath those dressers. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and make sure that you leave me a comment below. Is there anything that you got rid of that you don't have in your home anymore that's made all the difference for you? Let me know what it is and why you're happy that it's never coming back. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love it if you do. And leave me a comment below and introduce yourself. I would love to meet you.